Hey everyone, it's Lord of the Swarm. Gonna do a real quick run through this Genestealer Cult Codex. This is not a review, so I'm not going to be listing point values for the most part. I'm not going to be even going unit by unit. This is more analysis. If you want to see reviews, there's a lot of them that have been posted, and at this point you might even own the rule book. So I think the time has passed to read unit by unit. I did that for the Tyranid Codex, and I'm not sure how well that went over. So I'm just going to do analysis of the Genestealer Cult, what I think, and there's really been some groundbreaking things, lines that have been crossed, thresholds that have been reached, and I just go over that here. So just some disadvantages and advantages first. You can read them here. The no Battle Brothers is kind of a big deal. We were Battle Brothers with Tyranids before the rulebook came out with the with the Overkill and the White Dwarf. I think that was just to encourage us to play them together. But now we're allies of convenience with Tyranids, but also Imperial Guard. Um, True to the fluff, it seems like they want you to buy a little group of them, include them in your army, and then slowly they take over your collection. So that seems to be the motif with them, which is, again, true to the fluff, so I like it. The no flyers, it's kind of a big deal. They don't really have a flyer defense either, other than the twin-linked autocannons on their trucks. And more on that later, but that can be kind of an issue. You kind of have to avoid them. They're kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with the war going on in Afghanistan, but like the Taliban, whenever planes or helicopters come in, they just run and hide and run away, or die in place. But other than that, they're doing ambushes and things. So that might be the way this army plays, which in a tournament setting, we'll see how that goes. Only one of each independent character for the formations. As far as the insurrection, Genestealer Cult Insurrection, the detachment, you can only have one of each. Now you can ally in and do multiple CADs and stuff. Heck, in the CAD, I think you can take multiples of each independent character, but that limits how many psychic dice you can get. Really, that's kind of the issue. Is you don't get a lot. You get maximum 4 because they're level 2 each for the Patriarch and the Magus. So anyway, there's that. And then the Genestealer Cult crossed the threshold for points per model. I'm sorry, dollars per point. So if you haven't seen the pricing yet, you can actually buy an army that's more expensive in dollars than it is in points. And I've got the list, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. So more on that later. Advantages: Rending Claws. The Strength 4 Rending Claws with Furious Charge can kill anything, or just Strength 5 Rending Claws. Because with the rending rule and everything, when I was playtesting on that Genestealer list, that's what I was finding. It's just the Genestealers were too expensive to have enough on the table to work. But now, Genestealer Cult, they're basically mini Genestealers. So Strength 4, Rending Claws, and that you can get Furious Charge actually pretty easily, and Hatred, and they have more attacks just natively, and they can get Rage and all this other stuff. So the cheap but deadly thing works, and you don't actually have to have like a melt-a-gun to kill knights. The Metamorphs can be Strength 6, Strength 7 on the charge if you have Furious Charge, and then you can even get Strength 8 with one of the spells. So really good. They're Toughness 3, but honestly, this book is all about maxing out your offensive power and just dealing with the fact that your guys are not very durable. But because you have so many of them, I think that offsets it pretty well. And then the Cult Ambush, Return of the Shadows, you guys know how that works. You can manipulate this to kind of get stuff back. I think if your demo charge guy appears, throws a demo charge, then gets shot and killed, and your unit hangs on, if you leave the table and come back, and when you get your D6 back for the Insurrection detachment, I think you can just put those guys back in, and you get a new one, and I think he gets the demo charge back. So there's some weird things you can play around with there, and you can get your squad leaders back. You can get your they have to be kitted out the way they were when they died, though. Just remember that. But for the summoning power, you can give like every single acolyte a hand flamer, and every 2 for every 5 get the mining saws and things. And then when those guys die, you get them back, and you can really. I talked about point advantage for Tyranids. These guys really have that. So please maximize that in your list. I think these advantages really what are going to see you through. So here's the Genestealer Cult. I'm calling it Genestealer Cult Battle Company. So this is actually pretty terrifying. If you thought the Space Marine Battle Company was good, just look at this. So you got 2 CADs, each one led by a Magus. Each one has 2 units of Metamorphs in the elites, and each one has maxed out their acolytes. And then they put 3 trucks in fast attack, and then everybody gets a truck for a dedicated transport. And that's right, it's not a typo, 22 trucks. Wow. So that's 44 twin-linked autocannon shots, which gives you like 13 hits on flyers. And this just kind of mind-blowing. I'll show you what the price for this list is, but if each truck was 3 inches wide, I don't own the model, so I don't know. It could be 3 and 3.5, 4, but if it was 3 inches wide, that's 5.5 feet of frontage. So your entire, and let's say they're 6 inches deep. Hopefully they're 6 inches, because that's really going to mess up coming in off if you can outflank with your trucks. Because again, if your unit has infiltrate and it has a dedicated transport, I believe you can outflank your trucks. And if they're more than 6 inches long, then they won't fit on the table moving at combat speed. So you won't be able to shoot at full ballistic skill and all that. Or the guys in the back, won't be able to fire their weapons. So anyway, keep that in mind. But anyway, if they're 6 inches deep, that's almost exactly half of your deployment zone is filled with trucks. And there's a little more reasonable formation of this where you have 19 trucks, but then you're in the Genestealer Cult Insurrection Detachment, so all your guys get infiltrate. They get all the special rules, and so that one's maybe a little bit more. That's probably actually a little better, because then you don't have to start all the guys in their trucks. They can kind of appear wherever, and you've got 19 trucks on the table. And battle companies generally have 12 Razorbacks, just for a comparison. So they're armor 11. They're not open topped, but there's a 50% more here, more than 50% more here, and a 3-shot twin-linked heavy bolter versus a 2-shot twin-linked autocannon. I mean, which one's better? I did the math. It kills a Knight Titan with the Void Shield to the front, and again, you can get flanking shots because you've got so many. You cover the whole board. Anyway, from the front, 4+ invulnerable save, you get 1 dead Knight every 2.5 turns. It takes 3 turns to kill a Wraith Knight if you shoot everything at it, but then it does a lot of wounds against Wraith units and things like that. So, and then you can imagine what it would do to a battle company. I think you would kill them off faster than they could kill you off. Yeah, so that's it. So here's the threshold. So I priced out some armies. These are approximate prices. So $683 for the Eldar list. A battle company is about $1,000, and that's right. The Genestealer Cult Battle Company is $2,020, depending on the cost for your Magus, because they don't really sell them individually yet. So $60 gets you the 3 characters, one of them being a Magus. So if they're each $20, then that's what brings you up to $2,020. That's a lot for an 1850 list. So we have officially broken the barrier, and you could probably do a price comparison, like have points, if the x-axis would be time and your y-axis would be cost. So one line would be points, one line would be dollars. We're at the point where those lines cross, and now it's more expensive to buy the models than it is to put them on the table. And that's an important threshold. And I haven't heard anybody talking about that yet. I heard Frontline Gaming saying that the $40 for 40 points worth of models, but I haven't heard anybody talking about how it actually your whole army list now is more expensive than it is to put on the table, especially with that battle company list, because a 50-point truck is $60, and that really throws off everything. Even the Magus, you only get it's a 2-to-1 ratio points to dollars if it's a $20 model. So anyway, just keep that in mind. I really do think that's an optimized list though, and I mean I could see people playing that. It's not like an army of grots or something. I mean, it is pretty effective. So here's some silly rules. You can actually get 7 attack Genestealers with Scything Talons upgrade, which is just you buy it, so that's guaranteed. Rage, which is either a spell or you roll on the chart for the Genestealer, the first curse one. And then the Banner of the Cult Ascending is something you buy, so that's guaranteed. And you're up to 7 attack Genestealers, which is kind of silly. Ones that's not in here is Metamorphs. You give them the +2 strength upgrade, and then Furious Charge. And there's a spell that gives them +1 strength. And now they're strength 8, so they're instant deathing models at that point. And but pretty easily they could be strength 7 all the time, because one of the formations, the Icon Ward, will give people Furious Charge, and they can get Hatred from the Primus and all this other craziness. That's your Titan Hunter, by the way. Outflanking Demolition Claw Truck with 5 twin-linked Demo Charge Blasts. So Demolition Claw's a formation. You take Acolytes, you put 10 of them. They can take a dedicated transport, because it doesn't say they can't. It's just not part of the little formation thing. And then it's like it's 2 for 5 for demo charges. And then the truck can take a demo charge, and all models in the formation get a Tank Hunter. So when you come off from outflanking, you can just throw a whole bunch of twin link demo charge blasts off the table, and it's only 230 points. How about that? And then the strength 10 strength 10 T8 Patriarch is if you get Iron Arm and then Furious Charge, you're up to strength 10 with Hatred from a Primus, and they have Shred in their AP3, so that's pretty gross too. He's got a lot of attacks as well. He's got like 5 or 6 attacks on the charge. So yeah, so there's that. There's also, you can get 3+ if you roll on Biomancy instead, you get the 4+ endurance with the Icon Ward. They get +1 to that, so now they've got a 3+ Feel No Pain. So yeah, so there's a lot, some silly stuff, but overall pretty fun codex. Honestly, here's what I consider the real gems of the decks is I really wanted to play Genestealers in the Tyranid book, and had like a list of all Genestealers. I had like 85 Genestealers, and I think the Death Leaper, or no, I had a Tyranid Prime, I think, that I used a Broodlord as just to make it fit, but it was a Tyranid Prime or whatever. But I couldn't make it work because it was 85 Genestealers wasn't enough. T3, T4 doesn't matter really that much. I was playing a lot against Necrons, and they're just really hard to kill to begin with, but it couldn't. You needed too many Genestealers because they only had 2 attacks each, and there's no way you could give them Furious Charge, but you just needed too many of them, and you couldn't put that many on the table. Well, these guys can do that. They can have enough, and I think it's going to revolve around these things: the hybrid Metamorphs with Crushing Claws, the Claw upgrade that gives them +2 strength. Between them and the Acolytes, you can kill anything. The Acolytes kill everything except for Night Titans, and the Metamorphs, they go after the Night Titans. And then the Strength 10 AP or T8 Patriarch because he can just pass wounds off to a squad. If you take that first curse formation, try to roll on the biomancy table for Iron Arm, and I think you're in business. So strength 10. I mean, that's just crazy. So that guy can pretty easily kill Wraith Knights as well. So I should put the truck on here as well, because the truck, just don't put anybody in it, and it's pretty good. So the list, I put that huge list up there. It would be competitive. I just don't. That's a lot to buy off on it right now. But what I would consider doing is Genestealer Cult Detachment, which is the Insurrection Cult. First curse with the 20 Genestealers. They 1 out of 3 games, because you can reroll on the chart. I'm sorry, you can reroll on the Warlord table if your Patriarch is the Warlord. So 1 out of 3 games, you'll get a 6, which means you get to pick on your Cult Ambush table. So you're trying to get the 6 result on the Cult Ambush table, because then you can just appear and assault stuff. And if you've got Iron Arm, because you can be Mastery level 2, so if you get Iron Arm, you're gonna get you're gonna destroy pretty much anything you charge, generally before it even gets to go. The Brood Cycle, that's the core formation. I want to build it around infantry, so you get some nice benefits. It almost makes the Relic Banner not worth taking. I think I would still take it though, even just for the +1 attack. The Subterranean Uprising, I think, is going to be really good. My goal is to get 4 units to charge on the first turn, because they get to roll 2 dice and take whichever one they want, and they can infiltrate using the rules. I think that means on first turn you can charge. So my goal is to make 4 charges on the first turn, which means I need 12 units in the Subterranean Uprising, a mixture of Acolytes and Metamorphs, just so that I could deal with any threat. And then it's not so bad that I don't have a lot of shooting. The Doting Throng, just because he gets to reroll psychic powers that when he casts them on his own units. I think he gets to reroll when he generates them too. I don't know. I'd have to check that. The Demolition Claw, again, just for tank hunters on the twin-linked autocannons. Honestly, just to fit with the theme, I might not even take that one. It's crazy. You actually get it's like 400. It's 390 points for the Demolition Claw, and you get the Rock Grinders, which really aren't. Honestly, I don't think are going to do a whole lot unless you're able to get up real close and start running over people's models. But I just think you're asking to get a melta gun to the face. And then the trucks, they're going to sit in the back. So it might be better just to take a bunch of trucks just for twin-linked autocannons, because I remember when Rifleman Dreads were good, and they just had 2 twin-linked autocannons, and they were like 115 points or 105 points or something. So now you've got trucks, which is 2 vehicles that can shoot at 2 different things, and they have the same firepower. They're Ballistal 3 instead of 4 or 5 if you did the Venerable Dreadnought, but it's still a lot of hits, and they're cheap. So that's the price when I priced it all out for the models there. That's just a lot to swallow, so I might not have that for a while. But anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the Codex. Again, more of an analysis, not a unit breakdown. But I think this is a really good book, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it at top tables. Especially that Genestealer Cult Battle Company, because it's 24 objective secured units. Like, I think battle companies usually only get like 28 kill points, by the time it's all said and done. So yeah, so there's that. So, all right, well, thanks for watching. Please comment whatever you think about anything I posted here, and I'd appreciate to hear from you. So happy wargaming.